It's time to look forward throughout 2020 and see what PlayStation gamers can expect to have their wallets completely emptied by over the next 12 months. If you are new to this annual video, the rules are simple. I may only include PlayStation exclusive and console exclusive titles, or timed exclusives for PlayStation. So I cannot talk about the brilliant Cyberpunk, or the mesmeric Resident Evil 3, or the upcoming Marvel's Avengers, or the excellent... yeah, you get the idea. In this video, it's all about the PS4. This is a huge year for PlayStation gamers, ending with an entire new console generation, the holy PS5. But let's not waste our year waiting for the future. Let's check out 10 PlayStation exclusives you need to play in 2020. Be sure to comment what you are looking forward to. I'll be in the comments lurking. Yeah, I'm starting with The Last of Us Part 2, easily my most anticipated game of 2020, which so happens to be a PS4 exclusive. Ellie and Joel return from their zombie-fueled nightmare, surviving the cordyceps virus and quickly realising humans remain the real enemy, even in the post-apocalyptic world. Ellie has now matured into a young woman, trying to figure out the same things we all go through, like girlfriends, military training, fighting clickers, and surrogate dad issues. Okay, maybe not like most of us, but this is where the brilliance of the developer Naughty Dog comes through. The storytelling takes centre stage, with exquisite voice acting and mocap, making the narrative hit you right in the feels. On the gameplay side, Part 2 brings in new mechanics, like going prone and hiding under vehicles or in tall grass. And there are dogs here now too. The cute little buggers will hunt you down using your smell and alert all enemies to your position. The Last of Us has evolved, and on May 29th, 2020, we can finally see what happens to our beloved Ellie and Joel. Another gargantuan PS4 exclusive is the Ghost of Tsushima from Sucker Punch. Those are the guys who brought you Sly Cooper and the Infamous series. They've now turned their attention to feudal Japan, gifting us an action and stealth adventure to battle through. If you can't already tell by the footage, we are a samurai in a fully open world. There's talk of the on-screen HUD being taken away completely to fully immerse us when exploring, in a way to stop players endlessly following a mini-map or sat-nav to different locations. We have to learn the world of Ghost of Tsushima. We have to learn the locations of Tsushima Island. Look at how bloody beautiful it is though! I was convinced this would be a PS5 exclusive, but hell no, it's coming to PS4 in the summer of 2020. Here's the premise. After our people were brutally slain by our enemy, we pick up our katana as the last samurai and evolve our fighting style to avenge our comrades and take down the Mongol invaders. I'll break this down fully nearer the time, but just for now, let's just look at the leaves one more time. Wow, I never thought I'd be impressed by leaf physics, but I am. See you soon, Ghost of Tsushima. Back in 2017, Nioh was a quiet PlayStation exclusive that grew into one of the most respected games on the platform, playing very much like a Soulsborne game, but with a samurai-inspired story and location. It was almost Sekiro before Sekiro existed. Nioh 2 comes back with a prequel, not a sequel, meaning this happens 300 years before Nioh, allowing us to play them in any order we like. Games like this are made for the hardcore, the extensive exploration, the intense fighting styles, and counters and blocks, so let's call the fighting intricate, to say the least. And oh yeah, you will die. You will die often. Nioh 2 will be difficult. If you played the original, you'll understand, and if you did play Nioh, you should know that the character customization, the weapons, the fighting depth have all been improved, deepened, expanded. You're gonna love this. Or in my case, you're gonna love to hate this. So if you want an action-packed hack-and-slash role-playing game with a difficulty curve to suit, Nioh 2 is your jam. Releasing on March 13th, 2020. The games keep coming all year round, and one of them has to be a remake, right? But this isn't just any remake. This is Final Fantasy VII Remake. The OG PlayStation 1 game has been rebooted both visually and mechanically, with real-time combat replacing turn-based strategy of the 90s. But the story remains intact, with all the cinematics you'd expect from a 2020 video game. In fact, the story has been deepened, with smaller sections of the 1997 game expanded to add to the lore and narrative of Final Fantasy. And look how beautiful it is! Even the gruff Mr. T inspired Barrett looks good enough to eat your dinner off. hang on. There's a joke in there somewhere, alright, let's just move on. The entire cast returns to pull at your heartstrings once again, and if this is your first Final Fantasy game, you are in for a real treat. Taking on Shinra, who are draining the planet's life energy, so let out your inner eco-warrior and beat the crap out of the establishment. Greta Thunberg would be proud of you. Final Fantasy VII Remake will be taking over the internet on March 3rd, 2020, with other platforms getting the game about a year later. Another PlayStation console exclusive is Predator Hunting Grounds, an asymmetric survival title in which one person plays the Predator and takes on numerous players who are militarized badasses. If you've played the ill-fated Evolve or Dead by Daylight or my personal favourite Friday the 13th, you have a clear understanding of the premise here, but Predator Hunting Grounds evolves this basis. Up to 4 players are tasked with real objectives against AI bad guys, such as storming a rebel village with tons of weapons to claim a MacGuffin. But this is the point, the whole thing is thrown sideways with the introduction of the Predator. They may be solo, but they have abilities to more than even the battlefield. See this as teamwork and coordination against stealth and overpowered sci-fi skills. Expect this to be as tense as the other games in this genre, but different enough to forge its own path. I have to say, visually, this isn't looking good enough at the moment for me and the license it's using, but there is plenty of time to polish the visuals before Predator Hunting Ground arrives on PS4 and PC this time on April 24th. So, what about PSVR? The headset has been supported by many games over the years, such as the sublime Astro Bot and my personal favourite, Blood and Truth. Well, in 2020, PSVR will receive its own exclusive Iron Man game, inspirationally titled Iron Man VR. Surely this is what VR needs. A shooter and flying simulator which is guaranteed to make me vomit from travel sickness. I cannot wait to play this. We play as Tony Stark, going about his daily activities fighting bad guys and wrongdoers in a bright red cyber suit. The heads-up display looks like those seen in the movies, and flying is said to be uncanny, with the thrusters in the palm of your hands. The story sees Tony revisited by a ghost of his past, from his days as an arms dealer, giving fans an in-depth narrative and backstory to uncover and enjoy. Sound like your kind of game? Iron Man VR hits the PlayStation 4 on February 28th, 2020. For years now, I feel like I've been talking about Dreams, a game about creating other games. Basically a suite of tools to design and build. Developed by those guys behind Sackboy and Little Big Planet, the formula has changed and evolved. Dreams is about creating anything you can dream up. I guess that explains the title. I've been keeping an eye on this for many years now, and I've seen such a breadth of games which are possible here. Someone created the Horror Corridor from Silent Hill PT, another person made a playable Sonic the Hedgehog game from the Dreamcast era. So basically I'm saying this game could be 1 million games in one place. Dreams looks to become a community of creators who build and improve together. From jump scares to platformers, from racing sims to arcade sports titles, the potential of Dreams is awe-inspiring. And they're also going to add PSVR support too, so look out for this on February 14th, 2020. The Persona audience is humongous. The Japanese RPG series is on many people's best games lists and multiple RPGs of the decade. In March 2020, Persona 5 Royal releases. If you aren't hugely into the series and feel like you've heard that title before, you're right. Back in 2016, Persona 5 dropped, and Royal is an expanded version featuring tons of new content. Japan had this game back in October, but the Western release was pushed to March 2020. The game revolves around a high school student with the codename Joker, and runs through 1 year of time in a day-night cycle. What's impressive about Persona games are the social construct, the social simulations, in which time of day, weather and story beats all impact interactions with NPCs, resulting in branching paths of the story. The ending you receive may be completely different from your friend, which pulls players back in to play once again. Replayability is a godsend. The Royal version of Persona 5 features an additional phantom thief named Kasumi, a new palace, new music, additional plot points and social elements, a playable third semester to get through, and I gotta admit, I'm tempted to get into Persona after looking at this game. March 31st, 2020, if you're interested. My final pick is a strange one. It's a game we talked about a year ago, Wild, an exclusive PS4 game which vanished into obscurity. Seen as a truly open world, set in the prehistoric history of mankind. Basically, we'll play as a caveman, but we have some supernatural powers. We've seen a shaman character who can control the mind of an eagle to scout the terrain, and even call bears as a mode of transport. These spirit animals were going to be a key part of Wild, but then everything fell silent. Since then, we've seen games like Rust and Ancestors: The Humankind Odyssey produce games with a similar feeling of survival. But then late last year, the devs behind the game began to expand their offices, causing me to keep an eye on them. And guess what? They renewed the Wild license, and I have a sneaking suspicion Wild will release on PS5. I can't prove that, but the signs that the game is not dead is good enough for me. If I'm honest, I just want a spirit animal. Hopefully a warthog. What do you think? Will we ever see Wild in the wild? I'd love to know your thoughts. So the year will end with the PS5 being a real life thing. And to commemorate the first game confirmed for the next generation, here it is, Godfall. At the moment, Godfall is confirmed as a PS4 console exclusive and via the Epic Store on PC. But let's not treat that as gospel just yet. Just look at it though, look at the shiny graphics. Touted as a looter slasher in third person for up to 3 players to play cooperatively. I like the tagline, it's time for the wolves of war to awaken in this new RPG. We'll have to wait and see what this becomes, but the PS5 is sure to have more exclusives in 2020 and we'll be back at the end of the year for 2021's offerings. I'm Adam from PlayStation Grenade. Have a great 2020, this is your year. I'll see you soon, fellow PlayStation gamers. Peace out.